California is burning as I'm recording this video, and it's all thanks to woke policy and ideology. The fire chief in Los Angeles is getting exposed for prioritizing LGBTQ values and discipline over actual training to be able to save Californians in situations like this. In addition to citizens of LA being cut off their fire insurance just days and some even just hours before the fires started to engulf the city. Even worse than this, the mayor of LA has been exposed for fleeing the city and going to Ghana during their time of need. This is much worse than anything Ted Cruz did, because there are fires literally burning right now as we speak. Let's speak about how we got to this point, and let's expose this story, because this is one of the interesting. This looks like a Mad Max Dark Knight.
There's so much smoke.
How could you see this, and if you were a mayor, how could you see this and say, man, I think I need to go to Ghana. I think it's time for me to leave. These people, they got it. It looks like it'll wear itself down. These people are extremely selfish. And if you haven't noticed that they only care about themselves yet, you might never.
It is blocking the sun. You can actually see it.
It's apocalyptic. It's so apocalyptic.
My heart goes out, obviously, to the people with their homes, and I'm watching the small businesses around us go up in flames. This is people's livelihoods, so it's devastating. But what is most concerning to me is our first responders and our firefighters who are trying to battle this. There's no water in the Palisades. There's no water coming out of the fire hydrants. This is an absolute mismanagement by the city. It's not the firefighters' fault, but it's by the city. And I'm going to be very honest.
Now, what's crazy, President Trump just about 4 months ago, well, 2 months ago with the Joe Rogan podcast, but 4 months before all of that, Trump's had exposed how California was in dire need of water. The mainstream media started criticizing him, saying that he was crying about problems that just don't really exist, and he was trying to find a way to bash a Democrat state. Now it comes out to see that Trump was right yet again, and we have an incompetent leader. This is even more unfortunate to the fact that California is home of Kamala Harris. So the current vice president of the United States never thought to address the problems that was lingering inside of her state. There's no way that Kamala Harris wasn't notified about this. I know Joe Biden is the president, but it's her home. And it tells me that it looks similar to the Maui situation, especially with the video that we have coming up with people being told that their insurance was canceled before the fires came in. It seems to me people like Kamala Harris, they benefit from these flames in some way. Could it be incentives with the insurance companies? Could it be negotiations with banks that aim to buy property? I mean, California as a whole is destined for a rebirth. In addition to all this, we are ending the dog Chinese New Year. California is a dog state. We are still in a Dragon New Year. And with the Dragon New Year, it's pretty interesting that it's ending in flames at a dog state. If you don't know, the dragon is the enemy of the dog. I'm a dog Chinese zodiac, so is Donald Trump. So just a cool little coincidence. I just had to nerd out really quick. It's very similar to the Maui thing, except we don't have the blue roof. It seems everything is burning, including the celebrity houses. But for the most part, most celebrities had already left because they got better data. They got people that's high up. They know other celebrities. They know other government officials that can notify them of things about 4 to 6 days before the fallout.
We've got a mayor that's out of the country, and we've got a city that's burning, and there's no resources to put out fires. So if you look at your pictures, you don't see the firefighters there because there's nothing they can do. And it looks like we're in a third world country here. Mm-hmm. And we've got a lot of tough questions that we need to ask the mayor and the city council and our representatives and the county representatives. Why didn't you work to mitigate this? What was your brush mitigation program? I heard you earlier talking about it's been dry because there hasn't been rain. That's not the biggest problem here. The brush up in these hills that are controlled by the city and the county, I would bet you that if they haven't been handled, mitigated, pruned, removed for probably 30 or 40 years. This was a disaster waiting to happen. And what's predictable is preventable. And who's paying the price are all of these people in their homes and their businesses tonight. Now, we'll rebuild.
It's a mismanagement problem. And this is what leads to Americans, when they see these things, they feel like it's sabotage, because it's like, how could you not appropriate it? This reminds me eerily similar to every time a school shooting happened in the FBI, they revealed that they were on the radar. It's like, with all these resources, why can't you protect us? Why do you fail time and time again to protect us? Why does it feel as if we're on our own? Because it's led to people through years of not being protected. You rightfully so assume that people are benefiting from their destruction, chaos, and pain and plight. It's almost obvious at this point that someone is benefiting financially from the suffering of Americans.
But the majority of this community is going to have a tough time rebuilding their lives.
These young women are trying on LA firefighter gear for fun, but recruiting, training, and inducting them into the ranks of the LA Fire Department and LAPD is serious business, as city leaders work to attract more women into these jobs. This mega recruitment event is one of Garcetti's many efforts to bring more women into traditionally male-dominated police and firefighter jobs. The LAPD is seeing 10% of its academy classes filled with women, and female recruitment in the fire department has shot up by 4.
And this is what they were focused on. And does anyone remember what happened last time? That an organization of the government wanted to just focus on women instead of qualifications? I know a lot of people hate DEI, but if you actually look at the people that's been damaging society the most with DEI, it's been white women. If you actually look at the numbers, white women benefit more from DEI than any other minority. That's skin color, gender, all that. They benefit from it. Now, I know every woman here ain't white, especially that woman on the right behind that LA Week logo, but it's a majority of white women that do benefit from DEI. And things typically go to shite every time it happens. Every single time it happens, it's criminal, and it's almost as if they have a formula for destruction, and they keep creating all female roles for positions that typically were dominated by men. I don't see any female industry excel if it changes their status quo and transition it to men. And if it would succeed, it would take a long time, which means everyone outside the industry will suffer as it evolves. There's no need to force evolution. There's no need to change the ladder. There's no need to put females in males positions. It makes things complicated. And in the end, the people are the ones that suffer.
40%. Among the eager candidates, young women in the police and fire cadet programs.
I learned how to be more disciplined, not only in the program, but around my community and within my house.
And your school?
Yes.
You get to actually be in that that building that's on fire, and while other people are scared and everything, and they train you to remain calm and just do what you have to do. We have to wear all of our gear, which is our turnout gears, our SCBA, and sometimes we have to carry ladders or forcible entry tools. Like, they may not look heavy, but when you're walking, like, at least like over a block or two, you're like, wow, like, this is like weight.
The city has launched a new effort, the Pledge to Patrol program. It's a bridge between the cadet program and the police academy, and it even pays for your college tuition.
I'm actually starting the academy next month. I'll be the first one out of this program to start the actual police academy.
We go and we work with detectives, we go on ride-alongs, we do a lot of community relations. You know, the detectives, gangs, you know, we see that there are people wanting to help people. So they have this drive, and I'm like, I want to be on that train too. Like, let me get on your drive.
Females have a lot more compassion that they bring to the job. They bring a different aspect, like the communication side. And, you know, because guys can be a little rough around the edges, and it's like the girls can bring that compassion. And it's like you can do it like the guys, and you can even do it.
And it's great to have compassionate individuals in situations where people's lives are at stake. Yes, it is. But you got to be able to do the damn job. I mean, what good does it do? Let's picture this. I'm inside of a house. There's a ton of the roof has fell onto the door that I'm in front of. I need strong ass men to remove that debris. Do I want strong men to come remove the debris, or a bunch of compassionate women that's going to cry and say, it's going to be okay. I know it burns. I know you can't breathe, but we're going to figure this out. Fuck no. I need a nigga to come bust that door down and get my black ass out of there before I become a hot dog. Bro, ain't no one got time for the propaganda. No one has time for having compassionate individuals in places where lives have to be saved. When the Twin Towers were falling, I don't think there were any male fire chiefs saying, oh my God, what will we do? We need more women. We need more compassion in this moment. People are dying. It doesn't mean shit. It's nice to have, but most of the time, things that are nice to have, it softens us up. We don't need to be babied. We don't need to be softened. We don't need to be nurtured. We need heroes. We get all of those things after the day has been saved. You don't need no one to nurture you in the heat of the moment, in the heat of the battle. So it's a dumb narrative that's being said that it brings more compassion to the field. The same was said about the military. Soldiers don't need all of that compassion. They need to do their damn job. Be compassionate later. And it might sound heartless, but this is how you win.
2 times better than the guys.
If that is true, the gritty jobs of patrolling the streets and saving lives are about to get extra doses of compassion. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Here's those extra doses of compassion that we were looking for, thanks to the new DEI programs, of course, in the LA Fire Department, in addition to piss poor management of Democrat cities. Nothing really new, but here's some compassion. I just wanted to flood some of y'all screens with this compassion. Very compassionate. Very compassionate. Look at that. All that compassion. All we need is compassion. Look at all those compassionate people. Look at all those compassionate people.
Its leadership has since...
Yeah, the clown show keeps going. You guys know it. You own this channel to watch the clown show. It gets worse.
Changed. Chief Crowley is an openly gay woman now.
It took me a couple years. I wasn't sure, and this was when I was new on the job. I was very...
This is what we needed. That's what we've been saying. Like, bro, why do we need men that have a track record of success? We need gay, openly gay, LGBTQ, pro-friendly fire chiefs to be able to protect us. They understand the necessities of these things. They understand how to protect their country, to protect their people. I mean, of course, they're running around with the rainbow flags. That's what we need. We need individuals that are focused on social justice instead of qualifications that can save lives. I mean, come on, they're firefighters, not lawyers. Why would they need to know how to save a life? We need compassionate individuals that can implement new social justice practices to make sure our country is in control with racism and bigotry. I mean, truthfully, who gives a damn that California is on fire? California is still the most LGBTQ friendly state in America. It still has the most Democrats running around. They have the most Democrat policy. These are the things that matter. They still have massive gay pride parades. These are the things that matter. We don't need a qualified police chief, a qualified fire chief, or a qualified mayor. We just need someone to push out narratives, because that's all that matters at the end of the day. Not a roof over our head. It's about how we feel. That's what really matters, you know? And that's how stupid they want people to sound.
Kind of mindful about my personal life.
Geez, I want to talk about my white privilege so badly. I graduated North Hollywood High with a 1.7 GPA. I couldn't.
Here's an individual that actually wanted to work on the fire department, but was denied because he's not black or a white woman.
Not find a job. I walked to a fire station in North Hollywood. I was 19. I was living in the garage of my family home. My mom was on welfare and food stamps, and I said, can I get a job as a fireman? And they said, no, because you're not black, Hispanic, or a woman. We'll see in about 7 years. and I went to a construction site and dug ditches and picked up garbage for the next 7 years. I got a letter in the mail sent to my father's house saying, your time has come to do the written exam for the LA Fire Department. I took it, and I was standing in line, and I had a young woman of color standing behind me in line, and I said, just out of curiosity, when did you sign up to become a fireman? Because I did it, or a person, 7 years ago, and she said, Wednesday. That is an example of my white privilege. It's
disgusting. And this is happening.
This
is happening. Please don't think this just happening in the fire department. It's happening to white men all across the country. Something I've been speaking on. I've gotten a lot of backlash for my disagreement on H-1B visa. But our country, our men are being replaced. They're being replaced, and we're seeing it's not working out. Heaven help us when they start trying to replace our elevator mechanics with individuals because of how they feel and what they speak about instead of their qualifications. Just something as simple as an elevator mechanic. Imagine being stuck in an elevator for 8 hours just because someone wanted to hire somebody that has a history of throwing up LGBTQ flags and constantly being in parades. Do you think you're going to approve of those systems? You see, this is why America is shifting to conservative, because we've tried out the liberal way and we've seen how that worked out for us. And just as a human would, we're going to adapt, evolve, because humans are some of the most adaptable creatures, if not the most adaptable creatures on this planet. We're going to avoid the things that cause us pain. We're going to avoid the things that harm our family. We're never going to forget being on that elevator for 8-9 hours because of social identity was implemented. And that's how we feel about the country as a whole in America. We're not getting back on that democratic elevator. We're tired of being stuck.
Employee orientation. And our focus is to teach our new employees for them to understand cultural competency, identify implicit and unconscious bias, and be aware of the importance of us having a diverse and inclusive workforce.
Diversity is important because the different people bring different lenses to their job, and those different ideas, those different lenses are important to have the best practices for our industry.
We have people here from hazmat, we have dispatchers in the room, we have people that are responsible for financial management, we have our information management division, and also from human resources. So we have a variety of professionals that are receiving this training.
We teach people how to deal with conflict responsively, how to have challenging conversations, break down stereotypes, and learn more about cultural competence. And so we do this by working to advance equity throughout community partners and internal departments within Los Angeles County.
I welcome all of you in this.
Like, what is this doing for anyone? How did that work out? And we are having more and more examples of how trying out the liberal way doesn't work. They say seeing is better than believing. And I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly, more now than ever, just because I've never seen so many people try to shift to conservative. And it's because of examples like this. You don't really need talking points. You don't need presidents. You don't need mainstream media. You just need your eyes in 2025. And we can see the results of trying it their way. We see it. It's a lot different than 2006, and they say America needs to be more liberal. We need to have a retribution and push these racist Christian conservatives out. We're past those days. We've given them the opportunity to try to lead the country, and they ran it to the ground. People are tired. They're ready for their old country to come back.
To join, whether you're LGBTQ plus or not, or you're just an ally, you have family members, anybody that's willing to engage and learn and grow from the opportunities that this experience has presented me with.
The Los Angeles County Fire Department would be recognized nationally and possibly even globally as an agency that was very serious about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and made some substantive changes so that everybody could feel safe and feel included.
Niggas don't feel safe when they see you, bro. I'm sorry. No one feels safe seeing this black milk dud come up, because now, thanks to all of this diversity and inclusion that they've pushed, this DEI, no one even knows if your black ass earned your position. And it's unfortunate. This is why I'm against these systems, because you never know who earns their qualified position. You see me on CNN in a week, niggas gonna be saying, Tom got DEI, he's a DEI hire. Instead of me being qualified, being viewed as a journalist, being viewed as a creator, being viewed as all the things I could be, people would say it's DEI because that narrative has been set. Destroy it in the system. And it's unfortunate because we don't even benefit the most of the said systems. But if we get in any position of power, it's to be assumed that it was given to us and not earned.
On behalf of LA County Fire Department, we are so proud of our mission, which is to be proud protectors of life, the environment, and property. If you want more information about our department, please visit us at fire.lacounty.gov.
I know I'm not supposed to be here, but this is my parents' home.
I know the feeling.
And they just they got canceled from their fire insurance. So they're dealing with this.
And this is something that's being reported all over about the cancellations of the fire insurance, very similar to Maui, Hawaii. I don't even want to interrupt this individual because what they break down is so important. And I believe it links to multiple fires across America. And there's something very sinister going on.
They're 90 years old, and through the state of California, because of this, they're 90 years old, that they've lived in this house for 75 years, and they've had the same insurance, and these insurance people decided to cancel their fire. And we're going through this, and it just happened, and they have no fire insurance. So thank you, California insurance companies, supporting residents who pay taxes and love California. And they wonder why people leave California.
First and foremost, you did get your parents out safely.
I live in Sierra Madre. My parents are in Sierra Madre, but...
And now you know that it is under evacuation as well, north of Sierra Madre Boulevard.
Yeah, I snuck here. You know, there's a will, there's a way. Probably shouldn't do it, but you know what? Under the circumstances, send me to jail. That's fine.
Insurance has to be one of the greatest scams there is out there. I mean, there's a reason why that United Healthcare CEO happened. And there's a reason why he's loved by liberals mainly, but a lot of conservatives. It's beyond bipartisan because there's too many stories like this. You do your job as an American citizen, you pay these insurance companies, and they can decide when it's finally time for them to be responsible and do what they're being paid for, they can cut you off. Oh man, we need to fix that system, and I mean we need to fix it within these first 4 years. We have to fix that system. It's primitive. It reminds me of a country that's still growing, that doesn't have established systems, where you got to nickel and dime people to grow your company. These insurance companies have existed for far too long to deny as many people as they have. It's time for changes, and just stories like this are horrifying.
It's unbelievable what's happening here to the neighbors. Your parents' house is still standing. You had a hose. You're doing what you can.
I mean, I have a hose. It doesn't compare to these beloved neighbors that I've known. I was born and raised in this house, and I live in Sierra Madre, and I'm now 62 years old. And this is the house I was born and raised in, and I've never moved out of Pasadena, Sierra Madre, Hastings Ranch.
Well, let me tell you, it does help for people who aren't here to know what's happening. So you sharing that story, it does a service. I came up to you without even asking your name.
My name is Lynn Levin Guzman. This is the Levin household. I'm a nurse for over 30 years in emergency room. I deal with fire all the time and firefighters. And this situation here, luckily people got out because those are my patients. The people who are not so fortunate to get out.
As you mentioned, let's just hope everyone's okay. Lynn, I'm going to let you get back to it. And for you taking the time, we thank you. To your parents, we wish them the best as well. As I send it back to you, there's Lynn again with the hose. She's using a garden hose, getting the awnings, getting the roof of the house, doing anything she can. We say that as the embers are blowing directly on us here in the Upper Hastings Ranch community. She's here, her brother's here, and you know that there's let me tell you, the majority of the homes in this community are still standing. We drove past many on the lower side that are still standing, but the night is young.
Absolutely, a long way to go, and a courageous woman at that. And she does bring up a great point that we should talk a whole lot more about, and that is the fact that so many people are now uninsured when it comes to a.
Yes, we need to talk about that. It needs to be the main topic of this. But the same thing with Maui. And I'm at the point now, I think there should be criminal prosecution for these people that cancel on Americans. It's criminal. It's disgusting. And it truly shows what can happen when you allow greed to flourish. But because it becomes something where you treat people like numbers and less than human. And we've seen it time and time again. It needs to be addressed. It has to be addressed. There need to be more public outcry for this. My heart goes out to all the victims, praying and hoping that this does turn out better for everyone as we end this dragging year. Please like the video if you can. Comment if possible. Last time I didn't say comment, I only say comment, and I only got like 20. So I'm about to start saying it again. Hell, comment if you can, and click the notification bell to stay updated on my second post that's coming out today. Thank you guys. It'll be out by 7 p.m. Central Time.